Hey, welcome back. I had like half a dozen quick things. Like, I just don't want to forget them. So, the first thing is, I missed the last 3 Mario episodes. I don't know what happened. The audio didn't record, but I could see my face, the video. And, I didn't really care though. I don't know. It didn't bother me. I guess, like, what was I curing cancer in those videos? No. So I didn't really care that I lost them. There was one fun thing. I beat a boss, and it was like it came down to the last hit. And if I died, it would have taken like another hour to get back there. And I was like excited. Maybe I'll show that, just like here. Yeah, I'll try to sync it up and just show it here. And show my face like, whoa, I was excited. That might be something. Or I could just do it now. And that's not gonna work. The other thing is, this is a massive deal for me. My bedroom door is open. So I said last week I was going to slowly try to move out there. So, I'm doing it. But I'm starting slow. Because if I was sitting out there, it would be like that video I did where I was whispering in my living room. I just couldn't do it. I just have to do it slower than normal people. I don't know. The other thing was that I forget. See, that's why I had to say it quick. It was something stupid. It's just I did some stuff off screen here. I got 2 energy tanks. If you care, which you don't, and you shouldn't. I have to go back to Torbus, I think. Right? Maybe I don't. No, I do. Let's see. I was going to talk about today this GameStop thing, which I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, I have to go. Oh, I have the 3 temple keys here. Yeah, so I have to go back. The dark keys, or whatever the heck you want to call them. And the other big thing was I did an interview yesterday. This is the first interview I've done. I've been looking for a job for like 2 years, and that's the first interview, so I have to talk about that. But I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But it went well. Okay, the game shop. I keep mixing that up. Every time I say it, I say the wrong one. Game Stop. Game. Shop. Stock. Okay. I had written this note on like Sunday when it was just kind of happening. And then I felt kind of weird about talking about it here because it became like an actually really big thing. Oh, whoops. And I'm like, oh, everybody's talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. But I'm going to talk about it because it is really interesting. And I don't really fully understand what's happening, but I just want to, that's what I do here. I don't understand anything I talk about. I noticed, well, maybe it was Monday. I think Monday was the first day where the stock really, oh, I might have to move the GameCube closer because it's a little choppy. So what's happening? Bleh. The GameStop stock was sitting pretty low, obviously, because it's GameStop and they're closing a bunch of stores and they're not really transitioning to digital at all, so they're just a brick and mortar, like, what was the one that closed? Was it Borders? The bookstore? And then Barnes & Noble was the one that survived because they were more digital or something. GameStop, I'm going to do that every time. GameStop is, they're blockbustering. They're not transitioning with the times and they're failing. So they were and still are, I think, I don't know, the most shorted stock because everybody's predicting they're going to go bankrupt. And if they go bankrupt, the people who shorted the stock are going to get a lot of money. If they invest a lot of money. Who has a lot of money? These hedge fund people. So, GameStop was the most shorted stock like ever. Even though it was sitting at like $5 per share, the smart money, I guess, was on, well, this company's going to go bankrupt, and if they do, we get $5 per share back. Because when you short a stock, you bet on them failing. I don't really still really understand how it works, but you basically, instead of buying the stock and then selling it later, you sell the stock and then buy it back later. So if you sell a stock at a lower price, you want to buy it back. I mean, at a higher price, you want to buy it back at a lower price. As opposed to if you buy a stock, you want to sell it at a higher price. It's just a reverse. I don't really know how it works technically. Like, how do you sell something that you don't have? I guess you're just saying, well, I'm going to buy it later. I think how it works is maybe this is what an option is, or a call. Like, you say, well, I'm going to buy it back a month from now at whatever price it is. And that's why it's riskier to do a short stock, because I'm not even going where I'm supposed to. This is Torvis, so I have to go this way. It's riskier to short sell a stock because, so yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to mention when I started. Someone was going to call me. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. I wanted to keep it focused on one topic, and I don't want to get distracted, but yeah, someone from church just called me. It was very nice. But I was talking about GameStop. What was I talking about? Short stock, short squeeze. I was explaining shorting a stock like you don't, like, it's obvious. Everybody knows that, right? I'm not a genius for knowing it. So GameStop was shorted a lot. Then I think a couple things happened. So the stock is sitting at like $3 per share. because, well, GameStop is failing, so no one wants to pay for that stock. No one wants to invest in that company. Then they get a couple breaks, like they get some investments, and a couple people are saying like, oh, we're gonna switch to digital stuff, or we're gonna close our stores and consolidate. And I think the stock price started going up a little bit, like maybe to $10. And then people on Reddit had this idea of, kind of because it was just a goof, like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we just bought a bunch of GameStop shares? And then they did, and I think maybe some of the people knew what they were doing. Like, they knew, like, wait a minute, we could do this short squeeze thing, which never... I was looking it up, and they're like, oh, it's happened once before. It's not a common thing. When I went to school, economics, I never learned about a short squeeze, which is... I still don't really understand how it works, but when a company is shorted by a ton of huge investment or hedge funds or whatever, and the price starts going back up, for some reason the hedge funds start closing their position because they're like, oh, the stock's going up and we don't want to lose any more money, so let's just close and cut our losses. And to do that, they buy back the shares, and so that means the stock starts going up even more. So they have this, I guess, I don't know why it's called a squeeze, but it's like the stock is like going up a little bit, but then the hedge fund starts panicking and they're like, oh, buy it back, and then it starts shooting up and it squeezes up, I guess. I don't know. So that's what happened. I think some people in the Reddit knew, like, oh, if we buy a ton of shares, we might squeeze these hedge funds. So the hedge funds, the fun part of this whole thing is that these hedge fund billionaires lost a ton of money. Like these Wall Street people who just kind of make billions of dollars all day just by like pressing a button on a computer. Oh wait, what am I doing? I have to find the temple somewhere. Is it this thing? Maybe. Yeah, that kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Where else would it be? It would be right here. I'm gonna go here though, because I have the thing that I can do. So that's a short squeeze, and that's what's happening. Here's the thing, though. I don't know what the end game is, and it doesn't seem very good. Like, the Wall Street Bets Reddit, they're all like excited about, like, you know, you gotta hold your stock, don't sell, because then it'll go back down and the hedge funds will win or whatever. But like, what is the end game here? I don't see GameStop. I mean, GameStop is getting a ton of money now. I think that's how it works. When you invest in a company, you give the money to GameStop, so they just got like $20 billion out of nowhere. If they use that money to invest in digital sales and stuff like that, that's actually sustainable in the future and not just a store that nobody wants to go to anymore. They could justify their current $300 per share. Their market cap, I think, is $24 billion. I don't know, like, you would think, what's the cap on the market cap? Like, how high could they go? So you think, well, maybe like a company like Sony, but no, Sony makes stuff. GameStop is just a building that sells video games. So it's like Toys R Us. Ooh. Toys R Us went bankrupt. Toys R Us was a place that just sold toys. That's it. Borders. I guess I would look at Barnes & Noble maybe? No, but they have an online... But they don't make books. So it's different. I guess I would look at the market cap of Barnes & Noble and say that's the limit. Because They're like, oh, we're gonna go to $1,000 per share. We're gonna go to $1,000,000 per share. But what's the end game? I mean, if the company really isn't valued that high, then eventually it's gonna fall, right? I mean, that's how it works. And then all these people are gonna lose all their money. All the retail investors, and that's like kind of anti what they want. So what's the end game? I don't know. I kind of want to look up. Wait, I have to end. But it is kind of, I mean, if there were certain Reddit people who did this on purpose, and they were like, okay, we can manipulate the market into a short squeeze, it'll shoot the stock price up, we'll buy a ton, or we'll short a ton, and then it'll drop, and we'll buy it back at a low price, we'll make a ton of money. That's fraud, I think. And if that's what happened, then people are, well, even if you just, there's this guy, okay, I'll stop there. There's this guy, Deep Value or something, and I've been watching his posts. He bought like 8,000 shares at $2 a share or something, and now those shares are worth $50 million. I think he started with 50,000, and now it's worth $50 million. If he sold all those shares, he would have, and he manipulated the market, he would have committed fraud for $40 million. The SEC, I don't think, would like that kind of thing. Like, if he's like, okay, I'm going to buy a ton of shares at $2, and he's like, well, how do I increase the value? I remember learning about this short squeeze thing, so I'm going to convince everybody on Wall Street bets to buy the shares and push it up, and that'll cause the hedge funds to close their positions, and that'll shoot it up even higher. That'll go to $500, I'll sell, I'll make $100 million. I don't know how you prove something like that, but I'm pretty sure that's fraud. And if anybody did that, like the moderators at Wall Street Bets or something. I think when you hear rich, like, hedge fund people saying, like, oh, this is bad for the market, I think that's what they mean. Like, that is kind of market manipulation, and it's not right. I mean, people don't like hedge fund billionaires. I don't either, obviously. But I think they do kind of know what they're talking about when they say, like, this is kind of a bad situation, and I don't think it's going to end well for anybody. Like, if you're one of these people buying shares, like, it does seem like market manipulation the more I think about it. Because every time you go on Wall Street Bets, they're like, hold your position, don't sell, don't sell. But if someone's telling them to say that because they have an investment in there, and they're like, well, we want the stock to go higher so we can make more money, they're manipulating these poor people who are buying the shares. Because all they would have to do, all this Deep Value guy would have to do, was to sell his share first. Then he would get a ton of money, and the stock would crater because everybody would start selling. And all these people who were maybe a little bit late, they would lose millions of dollars or thousands of dollars. These poor people who were like, yeah, let's stick it to the man. They're the ones who are going to get hurt when this thing crashes. Anyway, let's look at the market cap of Barnes and... Well, GameStop, I think... Okay, Barnes and Noble. Market cap. Barnes and Noble has a market cap of $475 million. Oh, I actually want to see what that is. I mean, I know books aren't as... People don't want books as much as video games. But people go to bookstores a lot. Now I'm going to tell you the market cap right now of GameStop, and you're going to be like, what? $22 billion. It's way overvalued. I think before this all started, it was maybe 1 billion, probably less. Right now, the stock is sitting at 325 per share. Market cap is just the stock price times the number of stocks in the company. But it's way overvalued. If Barnes & Noble is only worth 400... I'll try to think of another one real quick. What's a similar company to GameStop that like is a brick and mortar and it just sells like goods? Is there a movie? I mean Blockbuster, but Blockbuster would be a good example. Is there like a place that sells another call? Whatever. I'm gonna ignore it. But that was the job I interviewed for. No. I just thought of something. Oh, what about like Radio Shack? Oh, Best Buy. Best Buy market cap. What is it? They're at $100 per share right now. Market cap is 28 billion. Well, yeah. But these people are talking about like, we're gonna get to $1,000. Okay, if it was $1,000, that would be 50 billion or 100 billion or whatever. How much do they want to overvalue this thing? And I don't know. I'm talking about way too much. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.